Day83, and hope you guys are all well. Today I felt it. Today I felt it. Yesterday I talked about how I was better controlling not controlling my emotions, but being aware of my emotions, just being aware. Um, I will say this today. Um, I I was still aware, but you know, I was still very aware of my emotions. I won't say I wasn't aware. Um, but I think there were moments where, how do I say it? Okay, for example, I just realized I just realized that the negative emotions were more present today. Today, I just feel like they were more present today. You know, and I did notice that. I did notice that. So when you do notice that, because I'm so used to kind of identifying with my emotions, because of course I've lived a life. Don't mind me, my hair's growing in, but hey, don't mind me, I'm looking a little rough. But anyway, we're authentic over here. We're authentic. We're authentic. We keep it real. Yeah. So, what was I saying? Because I've lived a life where I've been so attached to my emotions, of course, and I'm only new in this journey. I'm only new. This is the beginning of my journey, at least. So I can't expect to be perfect all the time. Even today, I did get into an argument with a loved one. You know, but I at least I didn't respond, like I didn't beat myself up after it. I didn't beat myself up after getting to the disagreement. You know, I kind of have to understand that it's a lesson. It was there to make me aware that, okay, cool, next time make a conscious decision not to engage in, any disagreement or argument, because that's all, it's all ego driven anyway. So you know mm, yeah, so today it was definitely, I don't want to say difficult, but when you notice the negative emotions be present, you kind of start to question why, like why am I thinking this way? Why am I thinking that way? Even today when I was making music, um, um, or working on that, how I've pretty much finished my first song. When I was working on it, the negative emotions started to come in. I started to have doubts. There were some parts of the verse where I was like, I don't like this bit. It doesn't sound as hard, bro. Maybe I should change it. Maybe I should rewrite it. On my days, I'm not feeling it. Blah blah. I felt it. I felt it. And what I didn't want to force it, because I didn't want to put myself in a position where I start feeling frustrated and then I have a negative attitude towards my craft. So I said to myself, nah, man, hell nah, bro. I said, hell nah. Let me back off this a little bit. Let me give myself some time. And again, I read the Musky system. We're on week 2 now. This week we're just inhib we learning are learning to inhibit our thoughts. Now, even says it in the book, inhibiting thoughts, you can only do it for like a few moments at a time, really, or at least in where I am right now, I can only do it for a few moments at a time. You know, especially when your mind is always constantly thinking and processing things, and you know. So inhibiting thoughts, at first it sounded so impossible. When I read that, I was like, did I read that right? Inhibit your thoughts. I was like, is that even possible? But his whole thing is depending upon the subconscious. It talks about how the subconscious is where the subconscious is kind of perfect in its nature. The subconscious is what kind of, that's what also keeps us alive. If you look at our body, subconsciously there's a whole system taking place to preserve life and well-being and health, and it's so rhythmic that you kind of look at it and think, wow, like what the flip, like how is that, like how is this even possible, like it's kind of fascinating. So you use that to also relate to the mind, and how the mind is the same way, but because our conscious mind is what guards our it is basically the watchman and the gate for our subconscious mind. If sometimes when you let your conscious mind to drift, or wherever, you're not conscious of your thoughts or aware of your thoughts, that can kind of enter your subconscious. It can get whether and negative information could be impressed into your subconscious. Therefore, that will can then manifest into your reality, pretty much. So, you know, um, that's what this book is. That's what the book was kind of told. That's what the book is. That's what we're doing this week. So we're just trying to, I think, and then not even just that, the exercise also kind of shows you how many thoughts are trying to gather your attention. When you try to, when I literally just did it a few moments ago. When I tried to like stop, or yeah, when you stop thoughts from like coming in, when you kind of quickly stop them and then inhibit them, you kind of like you notice you notice how many thoughts are trying to get your attention. You notice how many thoughts are trying. I sat down 15 minutes, didn't say anything, sat perfectly still, stared into a wall, and then the thoughts. And then the thoughts, you feel all the thoughts rushing in, and even some of the thoughts are just some silly thoughts, like they're not even anything that you even like, but it's like your mind is all your thoughts that may have been suppressed in the past are rising to the surface, and trying to get your attention, and because obviously your thoughts have no power in your thoughts don't have power, but you give your thoughts the power by like ruminating on certain thoughts, or harboring certain thoughts. So it's an interesting task. So that's what we're working on this week, and yeah. I mean, in regards to my music, I'm trying. As expressed yesterday, I want to get to a point where I can finish something, and that's my first. I want to finish it. I want to record it. I want to mix it and master it to the best I can. As of right now, I understand I'm early in the stage, so it doesn't have to be perfect. You know what I'm trying to say? For example, Drake wasn't as he didn't come out the gate rapping like how he's rapping now. You know what I'm trying to say? It was all a process. It was all a process. He didn't come out the gate dropping the best bars, and you can hear that. You can hear it in his first mixtapes, even like Comeback Season, bro. You can hear the difference. It's night and day. It's not that he wasn't good then, but like you definitely see the improvement. So I don't know. I can't. Being a perfectionist sometimes can limit you if you start to overthink and think about your work and all that. So my music, I'm trying. I really am. We're 83 days. I still haven't released music, but I'm not rushing myself. Everything's gonna happen in due time. Everything I'm good. It's not. And it's not a case of me lazing around. Like, I'm actually more productive, and I've been in a way better place than I was like 2 months ago. So, because 2 months ago, boy, when I was in uni, boy, so I'm not lazing around. Actually, I definitely I'm working towards something. At least I have a direction. It's better when you have a direction. you know where you're going, you know where you're headed. That's way better than to just cruise and go with the flow and just live life for the sake of living life. You know, that isn't very productive. But when you have a direction in your mind, a direction set when you're specific on what you want, then that's really all you need, really, to just know where you're headed. So yeah, it's like when you get into a car. As long as as long as you operate the GPS and put in your destination, you're gonna get there. God will just guide me. So yeah, that's what I have to talk to. That's what I have to say for today. Uh, and yeah. Thank you guys again for supporting me on this journey. I am not giving up. Giving up is not an option. Like that's out the window, especially being that I've done this whole I've kind of dramatized my life. If you think about it, I've made a whole channel dedicated to the journey. But I'm so happy I've done that because it's. I just think it helps me. Even these videos they help me self-reflect. So, and I'm not even just that. It's kind of like a domino effect. This definitely has benefited me in so many other ways that I didn't even really think of. I think the fact that I've been reading a lot more, that's a great thing for me to be reading a lot more. So I'm grateful for the situations I've been put through in the past year or two, and not even just that, talking in front of a camera. When I'm gonna be the musician I am, when I'm being a musician and being a public figure, you're gonna be on camera. There'll be times you have to get interviewed. Me doing all this, exposing myself to exposing myself to the world online is preparing me for that and building me for that. Right now I haven't really utilized my social media to the max. Because I did take a break. I am kind of taking a break from social media for a little bit, just to kind of calm my mind and quiet my mind, because social media, there's so much noise on there, especially with all the short form content. Short form content is not bad inherently. Everything has good and bad, but if you're not cautious with it, if you're not intentional with it, you let it, you just consume a whole bunch of nonsense. You know what I'm trying to say? So, and that's what I found myself doing. So I'm very happy. So yeah. So anyway, I haven't really been on social media like that. But yeah, this is all. And that's why day by day I'm more grateful for the situations I've been put in, that God has put me in, because this is building me for who I'm going to become. Even me just talking on camera. Even if you compare the way I talk on camera compared to now, compared to like my first video, like day one of this digital journal entries, these digital journal entries, boy, I'm sure it's night and day. I haven't really went back to watch, but I do feel like I'm better at articulating my thoughts and myself in general. So yeah, I'm very happy for this. So yeah, man, day 83. I will be back tomorrow. God bless all you guys.